Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. Have you delayed a major purchase this year? If so, you're not alone. It's not news to anyone that it's been a rocky year financially. Turbulent stock market, rising interest rates, and high inflation is making just about everything a little bit harder when it comes to our finances. Whether it be inflation, rising interest rates, recession fears, market volatility, or something similar, concerns about the economy are high. The overwhelming sentiment is that the state of the economy has had a negative impact on Americans' quality of life over the past year. 53% of Americans have said that they have delayed a major financial milestone this year because of the economy. And when it comes to major financial milestones or purchases, you might think of things like home improvement or buying a car or buying a home. And yes, all of these areas have taken hits. And while we've seen housing prices sort of stabilize this year or even come down in some markets, housing prices are still near all-time highs, making home affordability a huge issue. Then factor in that we're seeing mortgage rates hovering around 7%, the highest we've seen in decades, and it's no wonder that buyers are starting to get a little bit more hesitant. And then also there's concerns that a recession will worsen in 2023, so the housing market kind of has this cloud of uncertainty around it. In our household, I feel like we live our life in 3 or 4 year increments because with my husband's job, we move every 3 to 4 years. Recently, I was talking on the phone with my dad and he said to me, for your next move, you might not want to buy a house. It might just be more cost effective to rent because of interest rates. So while current interest rates, the interest rates of today, aren't a huge concern for me because we aren't moving, in a year and a half, that'll be a different story. We will be looking at a new place. So it'll play a huge factor on whether we decide to rent or buy. I mean, my preference would be to buy. I really like the freedom that comes with buying your own home. But if mortgage rates stay at this level, it's pretty hard for me to say that I would buy at the next place. So I guess really only time will tell. And for people delaying financial commitments today, it goes beyond homes and cars for many. For many, these financial changes are getting far more personal. Some are delaying getting married, some are delaying having children or pursuing a higher education or even retiring. 58% have said that they've avoided events. Think things like travel, dining out, movies, and sporting events because of the current economy. And I would be lying if I said that these types of changes weren't going on in our household as well. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've actually gone to a movie in the theaters. It had to be before I even knew my husband, so 7 or 8 years ago. Even when we were dating, we didn't go to movies simply because it was too expensive. I mean, I would rather go to Redbox and rent a movie for like $2 and watch it from the comfort of my own home. Come to think of it, that's actually probably a better move anyway because I'm the world's worst movie watcher. I pause it a million times, talk through part of it, and wander the house. I don't really actually sit down to watch movies. That way I can watch it on my own timetable, which generally extends about 2 days. Dining out is something that's really changed in our household. Before COVID, or BC as I like to refer to it, we used to go out maybe twice a week, but nowadays we're lucky if we go out maybe twice a month. And all of this kind of stems after going out earlier in the year for burgers, fries, and no drink, and our bill came back and it was over $40. I mean, my grocery bill for the week is about $80, so that seemed really expensive. I just decided I'll cook more at home. I love cooking, it's more budget friendly, and it's usually healthier, so we're just going that route. So yes, we have absolutely modified our activities to be more budget friendly, but it seems like I have a new hobby, and that hobby is pointing to price tags and dropping my jaw going, can you believe the cost of this? The latest was we were in a store and I found a painted bottle that would hold olive oil and the jar was over $60. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so expensive. I can't help it. It's just the way I am. I'm a frugal noodle and I hate wasting money. And now that I think about it, we haven't even taken a vacation since BC times, so 2019 or prior, but I don't really know if that's tough economic times or just everything being shut down and then life getting insanely busy. But I do want to know, have you modified your purchases? Have you made changes to your life because of the economy? Let me know. Perhaps worse, 57% have said the economy has negatively impacted their lives. 34% have said it has somewhat negatively impacted their lives, and 22% has said that it has very negatively impacted their lives. Appropriately, those most likely to say the economy has had a negative impact on their lives are those who have had to delay purchases and experiences and put off those financial milestones. More lower and middle income families and individuals are reporting making sacrifices and cutbacks during this time than higher income families. which makes sense. With a higher income comes a little more wiggle room in that budget, but still a sizable percentage of people in each category are reporting making adjustments. And all of this is pretty normal for tough economic times. I don't want to paint a picture like the sky is falling or things are beyond awful. And yes, in many ways, things are much more difficult right now with our current economic situation, with rising costs and rising interest rates, making it feel like our paychecks just don't go as far. And that can really suck, but it is part of the economic cycle. We as consumers are reactive. We make adjustments to our spending and our saving based on what's happening around us. If things are getting more and more expensive, we cut back on those non-essentials and we find substitutes. It's economics 101. When going out for pizza costs $50, you might decide to go out less or make pizza at home. When it feels like everything around you is getting more and more expensive, you might put a pin in that living room makeover and say, my furniture will last an extra year or two. It might feel annoying or stressful to have to delay your purchases or watch your budget a little bit closer, but it's really the norm for economic downturns. Sometimes we forget the tough times. We can suffer from recency bias and really only remember the good times. Since World War II, we've gone an average of 58.4 months between recessions, or nearly 5 years for the average time of economic expansion. And importantly, times of economic expansion last longer in duration and are more robust. And according to the National Bureau of Economic Research, they're the ones who name the official start and stop of a recession. In the post-World War II period from 1945 to 2020, the average recession has lasted 10 months, which means those good economic times last on average 6 times as long as the tough times. No wonder we can be so prone to forgetting the tough times. And while personal savings rates are hitting lows, the great news is that investors are holding steady to their investments right now. The vast majority of retirement plan participants have not made any changes to their contributions, according to Fidelity. The average contribution sits at 13.8% between employee and employer contribution. As a matter of fact, during this time, the youngest generation, Gen Z, are actually increasing their contributions. Just an FYI, Fidelity is the largest provider of retirement accounts, including 401ks, IRAs, and 403bs, with more than 35 million of these accounts. Retirement savers have wisely chosen to avoid the drama and continue making smart choices for the long term. This is important because one of the most essential aspects of a sound retirement saving strategy is contributing enough consistently in up markets, down markets, and sideways markets to help reach your goals. I think this is a hugely positive sign. I know financial literacy lags behind where it should in this country, but I think we're constantly taking steps in the right direction. More and more people are investing at younger and younger ages. More and more people are trying to take a hold of their financial future, which is wonderful. And little by little, I think people are getting more comfortable talking about money and it's becoming a little bit less taboo. I still think we have a long way to go, but I think we're making progress to get there. Notably, during this past quarter, the third quarter of 2022, the average 401k balance at Fidelity fell to $97,200. This made headlines because this is the first time that the average 401k and IRA balances have dipped below $100,000 since the start of 2020. At this time last year, Fidelity was celebrating all-time average account balance highs of almost $130,000. And being this year has been what it's been, it's not surprising to see that these balances are declining. But even in a down market, Fidelity is still reporting that the number of new IRAs and 401ks being opened on their platform is still on the rise. The number of accounts for Gen Z increased by 83% since this time last year, and the number of accounts for millennials increased by 25% since this same time last year. And just in case you're curious where people are directing their investing dollars, they have a greater affinity for the Roth. 61% of all contributions thus far for 2022 have gone towards Roth accounts. So people who are already invested are staying the course. Others are looking to get invested during this time. I feel like you can't ask for any better than that. And while investors are saying they have a negative outlook on the economy in the near term, they are staying in the market. And Vanguard has reiterated this same strong and steady behavior among its investors as Fidelity reports. They add, investing can provoke strong emotions, especially during market downturns like the one we just experienced. So it's good for investors to keep in mind that sharp movements in the market, whether up or down, are part of the investment cycle and not a call to action. So while economic times may be tough, investors are remaining strong, and that will set them up for the future when the market rebounds. Just remember, stocks are on sale today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. Hope you have a good day. Bye.